All
Is
right.
he a Joint Chiefs? Is that
He was the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency,
yeah?
and I'll talk about it a little bit in a second. I'm just getting the live going here, and we are now recording and streaming on YouTube. So cool. It might be just a small. Hey, hi Jordan. How are you? Might be a squad, a short squad today, which might be good. Um, so I'll start with the pledge. Oh, and I'll just post real quick and say we are live now in case anybody is looking for that. Here we go. So it goes like this. I pledge my mind to the respectful recognition of the sovereign liberty essential to human dignity. I pledge my hands to the creation and maintenance of communal, cultural, and ecological prosperity. I pledge my eyes to watch over the integrity of truth and justice with the acceptance of natural balance of diversity and equality. I pledge my heart to the connection that defines all of us throughout creation, and I pledge my whole being with humility and love to the grateful service of all sentient beings and human consciousness, and I will duly act in accordance to the principles derived from such wisdom. So it was a busy weekend and week. Last week there was the crypto conference that happened in Miami. I forget the name of it, but it was one of the newer ones, and it's interesting for me because there's like a lot of the same people that show up to these, right? And it's like through the ages, through since 2013, different faces, but sort of like the same templates of people, right? You've got like the bankers, you've got like the new crypto nouveau rich, and they're all blinged out, and you've got the coders who are sort of like understated and just wearing jeans and a t-shirt, and it was really quite fun. And I watched a one talk on security, and it was very enlightening. But I'm connected with the guys who created SafeMoon, which is a token that's out now. It's like a hype token essentially, but they've got a really good project going on behind them and a purpose and a reason for it. And they've asked me to be involved, like at their SafeMoon education. That they have a program that they're doing that'll be teaching crypto. I was approached by a big this is different from the crypto conference. I was approached by a big network, a big triple letter network that has content on all of the platforms, Roku, television, cable, all of this. And they're like, we've been, I actually know one of the folks that we've had a long relationship and have chatted over the years and try to do some business together. And they want to make an entire Bitcoin network, and they've asked me to be like the face for it. And so they're sending me contracts this week, and I'll take a look at that and see how that works out. If that is good, then we've got a huge window into the whole mainstream world, right? Both educating what blockchain is about, and then also telling the story of PHIRE, because out of all of the projects that are out there, we have been focused on doing the most good for humanity as a whole, and kind of like helping build a positive roadmap for civilization to build on in a safe and good and private way. So they're all about that mission, and they've talked to a lot of different people that are big people in the blockchain space, but there's no like, they haven't made any connections where they're like, all these people are just about money. Like, Xavier, you actually have a mission, and you've got a whole character and all of this stuff around you. So, would you like to do this? And I said, sounds good. Show me the details, right? Let's see how that works out. So hopefully they're flying down here this week. I've got a big show this weekend where I'm going to be performing like music and stuff. And they might come to that and start filming, and we could start filming some like teasers and trailers and stuff for what's coming later, which is exciting. But back to the event. I met the guys from SafeMoon and from Pirate Chain, or Pirate Coin, the guys who have the coin R, which is a true privacy coin, which is very exciting. And when the dip happened this past week, I guess, it was the only coin that doubled, tripled, and went up like 80%. They've got a lot of attention, a lot of excitement there. The guys who make it are really cool. And I told them about PHIRE, educated them on some of the things that we're doing and what's going on behind the scenes, and asked them if they'd like to be involved to help ensure that some of the procedures that we have within the PHIRE community will be totally private. And they love the idea. Same thing like the Hollywood producers, though. It's like, show us some details. So we're working that out on the back end. Also met the guys from Mandala, which is a new exchange, asked them if they'd be open to taking FHIRE tokens on there, and they said yes. So those are a bunch of really great things that happen there. Made a lot of connections there. I didn't get to meet BitBoy. If anybody's familiar with BitBoy, he's like got a big YouTube following, many millions of followers. And he was walking around, and I wanted to connect with him because I thought it would be a great platform to tell our story. The other thing, this yesterday, I guess Sunday, I went to a fundraiser for a company called CloutHub. Has anybody heard of them? CloutHub is like another social media platform, kind of like Facebook or Instagram, PHIRE, and they are taking over for where like Parler was, right? Like a sort of conservative network. And their whole thing is that they want to have a place for free speech, right? Which is kind of like what everybody's looking for right now. And they're doing some really good things, and they've got some really big influencers there, some huge names that everybody knows that are very controversial, at least in the political sphere. And they're doing some good stuff there. They're doing a raise right now. They're sort of at the same place where we are, except, and I don't know any way to put it delicately. Their base are really wealthy elitists, right? Our base is like we the people. So we're all kind of going in the same direction, but they're pulling in fat checks, right? For just straight up, vulture capitalist kind of investors strategy, which, good for them, really. And I think they're going to be fitting a need that's really important in the next few years. But I think we'll see a lot of eyes going there very shortly. So if any of you all are wanting to find a place where you can start whatever projects you might have, or want to get some attention and natural organic growth, I think CloutHub would be a great place to look at, as well as PHIRE. So I got the opportunity there to meet General Flynn, General Michael Flynn, who is the man who was, aloha, Ethan, who was the fella who was in the news cycle for many years. He was, they were trying to ensnare him for political reasons, because he's got the dirt on everybody essentially and knows what the stakes are, really. And funny story, I got the chance to speak with him. I was invited to their hotel, dinner, all of this, and I was going to go through my elevator sort of pitch that I usually do when I go to these networking events, and I couldn't. I was fumbling over words, and I don't. If you know me, I don't get starstruck. I don't fumble over my words. I am clear and direct, whether you're a prince, a sultan, a sheik, a king, a president, whatever. Or famous stars, but I bumbled like a little child. I was like, well, thank you for everything that you've been doing, blah blah blah. And thankfully somebody came by and totally interrupted us and was like, hey, can we get a photo? And he turned away and walked off to do the photo thing, and I was like, what the hell is going on here? Like, this has never happened to me. But he gave like an amazing speech. We've got the footage of that. And then I kind of hung around afterwards, and he's like, all right, kid, what is it that you really want, And then I went and launched into the whole PHIRE pitch and what we're doing and why it's important, and how it is people in the industry, social media and all of this, for the most part, don't understand exactly how tenuous our position is right now as a humanity, as a country, as a people. There are a lot of moves being made at a very high level from people who understand how to manipulate society and manipulate civilization. And if we don't have a place where we can have free speech, then we have nothing, literally. It's like we are so far behind. And I explained my perspective and why, and I went into some details that I think he got. right? And then he was like, oh, okay, well, I don't do tech stuff, so I don't understand these things, but this is my guy. And I'm like, I know that guy. We go back to 2014. He's like, well, this is my other guy. And I'm like, we talk all the time. And we really hit it off, and he got it and was basically like, all right, let's set up a meeting, and figure out what can work here. So that's like that's huge in so many different ways. And I'm actually going there to meet with them again tonight. So it'll be a more in-depth discussion and hopefully some more footage and everything. So these are, it's like we're still in the foundational period, right? It's like we're still building the integral strategic relationships so that when our go juice fully arrives, we've got this month and next month. I'd expected a certain set of contracts to be fulfilled by now, but there's a little bit more work that needs to be done there. We have like lots of different funding sources lining up, and there's just a little bit of work that needs to be done on my end. And what that looks like is, we talked about the phone, and the sensor technology exists. We have to demonstrate it, but we have the right relationships that we can get the strategic like contract saying, if you have if the technology is demonstrable by X date, August 4th or whatever, then we'll take X amount of units. And we have those clients lined up. We just have to negotiate those contracts now. And once we have those, then we can turn around and get immediate funding that's not equity based, that doesn't make me have to address or be beholden to any interested investor groups, right? We're just able to operate and go. It's a revenue stream rather than and actually debt, which looks good on the books in a number of different reasons. So that's the work that I'm doing this week. We have our partners all kind of getting those conversations set up so we can execute on those contracts. We have another couple interesting avenues of funding. A great friend of mine from years and years ago, we recently reconnected, and she's been working like in tandem on some of very similar stuff, dealing with smart cities and governments, and sort of like at the same level, right? But she's operating a huge investment bank and a huge investment portfolio on behalf of a number of banks and investors. So we're waiting for two things to line up with the gold-backed bank and the guys who have the commodity-backed bank. But then now there's this other new old relationship, and she's like, whatever we're going to do, we're going to make it work out. So she's helping me restructure the raise, because the way we've had the raise is if you buy PHIRE tokens, then any new tokens we create for any of our new clients, which already include 15 new coins that will be ready 3 months within full capitalization, then you get those coins. You get a percentage of those coins as well. So it's like you turn on a coin faucet, and any of our new coins that we create, you get those coins. So it's like, it's basically like knowing all the cool projects before they arrive and getting the coins for zero when they launch, right? And then immediately having value there. So which I thought was really appealing, and it is to crypto investors. It is to people who are crypto savvy, but a lot of the money still out there is legacy stuff. So we're working on both sides. We've got the coin raise for them, coin sales, and those conversations are happening. And then the token is ready and we can launch it. We're waiting for Etherscan to come back with a positive affirmation. Actually, let me just check if they have sent it over the weekend, because I haven't checked. Please give me one moment. Okay, yeah, so they just responded and saying that they're going to be getting in touch with me very shortly, which is exciting. So once Etherscan confirms us and then the PHIRE token, then that opens up a whole realm of possibilities, because we have the strategic. And at the conference we found that the guys from both of those coins, SafeMoon and were very open to providing liquidity and support for when the token launches. So I've got like a whole stack of cards that I have to go through. And just I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but there's this company called Link, LINQ, and it's a tap card, and it also has a scanner QR code on the back. They're like $10, $15 or something for one of these cards. And I use this all day at the conference with Flynn. You can just take it and your phone taps to it. Oh, I'm not connected to the internet. And it automatically opens up a link that you can have your contact information. So if any of you are interested, go check out Link. I highly recommend them. So I used it at the conference, and it's all these like old legacy folks, and they were like, "Oh, this is amazing," you know. And so they had my contact information right there, which, by the way, at this conference were like some of the Cheetos like best friends, right? It was like a very high society kind of function. And when I told them what we were doing and what we're all about and what FIRE is and my experience, they were like fumbling over themselves to get cards out. They're like, we need to talk. We need to talk. So I have to do follow up with all these motherfuckers. And so we've got like some really exciting things taking place, which I just have to say, life is a very, very amazing thing. I said 2 weeks ago, I really need to meet Flynn and Trump, and poof, here we go. It's happening. So I think what God's doing is making sure that the funds that come in are the right funds that won't cause us trouble in the future. And in such a way that we have a rock solid foundation, and that we can set up a sovereign entity that's recognized by the UN, kind of like CERN, so that we can't be sued and we're not under the operational jurisdiction of any nation, but act as our own in a sense, and can do some really creative and cool things for people from around the world that way, as like a lifeboat, right? Because everything seems to be going to HE double hockey sticks in a quick way. So if we can establish ourselves, provide the foundation and a secure virtual nation, essentially, with our own sovereign banking system and transactional capabilities and voting mechanics and governance that's consensus based, like it could be like as everything's kind of collapsing, we're taking off, and that sort of marks the transition from, you know, maybe the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius, let's say. I don't know. I like to think of it that way. So that's the update. I would love to open it up to any questions. Specific questions, broad questions, whatever. I know that I think I recognize everybody in here. Serena and Josh might be a new crew. So, yep. Anybody got any questions? Raise your hand in the chat or just unmute yourself. No questions? Well, that's a short meeting. Hi, Serenity, Stormy here. Hello, hello. Well, Serena, would you mind unmuting? Okay, Fong, go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Sorry I jumped in late, but I was just getting ready for work, and I remembered maybe 2 or 3 months back, in one of your baselines, Xavier, you mentioned we have a year to get this right. Do you recall that statement?
Yes.
What exactly do you mean by that?
So there is no free speech platform currently on the web anywhere, right? Mm-hmm. Not anyone that is actually operationally secure and can't be removed easily by the powers that be, whatever they are, right? Mm-hmm. Not only that, but the ones that do exist with any near semblance to that do not have the near network effect to affect and inspire the hundreds of millions of people around the world who are awakened, who are aware, who are ready for a better, newer situation on the planet. There's a lot of us. We're awoken now. Like I said it too, like you're all fucking psychic. Like the degree of consciousness that has increased in the past decades, right, has increased multiple fold. The people who are running things kind of understand that, and have made provisions for that, and are succeeding currently at making that awakening almost, meaningless, right? Because we're not able to affect change at like a large enough scale besides our baseline frequency, right? We have the baseline frequency of our consciousness. People recognize that animals are communicating, are intelligent, have emotions, which is a huge thing from just 100 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. And we understand that there's some fuckery afoot and that the way things are not in our best interest as free, sovereign, divine beings, eternal souls expressing themselves and having a learning experience here on earth. It's
Right.
turned more into a farm, right? And it's all like this, in my opinion, so let's just qualify that and say that in my opinion, this is the last kind of opportunity we have to be humans addressing the farm situation rather than cows led to slaughter. Meaning, if we can't organize and get an effective, positive, not resistance. Resistance is not right, because we have to be building something positive. We have to be building something that's beautiful, that inspires us, that makes us ignore the darkness and be like, you have no place here anymore, right? Like, look, we have succeeded, even if it's baby steps. We have succeeded in learning the lessons and recognizing that we have to move in this direction now, right? Thank you to all of the beings and the spirits and the life force and God and our ancestors for taking us here so that we could learn this, but we choose something different. But we have to have that ability and that conscious place to go and that stone to step to, that we have at least a plan, even a vision or an inspiration that moves at people enough to go in that direction, in my opinion, from where I'm standing, right? And if we don't get that together this year with what's coming financially and what I see in the horizons in terms of like, we've avoided war miraculously, just in the past 2 months. There's still, after talking with Flynn, there's still an actual real probability that the election gets addressed. There's a number of elections that have happened both at the state level and above, and the county municipal levels, that people have won elections, and then it was determined that it was fraudulent like 6 months later, 8 months later, and then they removed. You don't see that in the news a lot, but there's lots of precedent since the beginning of the United States, and there is still very much because somebody asked him this question last night at the dinner, like, why hasn't the military done anything? And he said the military's job is to take the orders of the commander in chief, who's there to serve the people, right? If that breaks down and a fraudulent, and he didn't say fraudulent, that's my word. If a commander in chief gives an evil order or an order that goes against the Constitution, they're supposed to serve the Constitution. If they don't, then they have to say, I tender my resignation, or I cannot follow these orders. But then they're out, right? So there's this delicate game that goes on. But he said it was a very hard time for people in the military right now because, there's the potential for very unconstitutional orders to come down the pipe. And what happens then? And he's like, we're close. We're not. We don't want a kinetic war. We want to correct this the right way. This, like, law and order, right? So we have to go through. We have to exhaust every step of the way. Whatever legal options are available to us to do this in a proper way, we have to do it. And that's happening. Everybody's watching Maricopa County right now, because if there's not more fuckery and it actually gets, like he said it this way, he's like, they're mail-in ballots, right? And if they're not folded, then they weren't mailed in, because you have to fold a paper 3 times to get the paper in the envelope. So if 100 of those, that means it's fraudulent. And if that domino falls, then all the other states' dominoes falls. And we still are in a set of probabilities whereby this could be really overturned. And they're exhausting every resource to make that come about, right?
Right.
So the more we pray for the truth to be revealed, for like righteousness to win, to like visualize that shit, embody that shit, because prayer really does help. And I think we had talked about this last week or on Unloose the Goose, where one of the things I really want to do with the PHIRE on phone and the sensors is, like, you can set it up and meditate, and we can actually measure that your heart rate goes down, your blood pressure goes down, that you're actually meditating. And if you're meditating for the benefit of PHIRE on, right, then we can pay you for that. Like, imagine being paid to just sit and hold good thoughts and hold space for everybody, like in a meaningful way. Like, that shit really does affect life. It's been proven scientifically. You go and There's been studies where, you know, a group of people will meditate in a city and the crime rate goes down by 20% for that period of time, you know?
Yeah.
So we can do that. We are divine souls and connected to things in more ways than we are currently aware of. You know, these skills and attributes of the human condition that our ancestors thousands of years ago knew and were just party to, you know, we've lost that over time as we've built into this, like, you know, amalgamation of civilization and removed ourselves from nature and the life force that's around us. So, you know, if we can reattach to that, we can reconnect to that, re-educate people to that, you know, we have a huge potential future for us. And whatever happens in the next year, that's where I'm headed. I have a feeling that's where all of you are headed, whether it's on this planet or the next, right? Whatever that might mean. But I every breath, every pulse of my heart is towards that as a reality here on this planet, so that our ancestors or descendants can say, thank God they did something, and not why didn't they do something.
Right.
And that's why I'm manic about everything. Like I'm just so, like, once the switch flipped, I'm like, fucking go, let's go. You know, there's no resting now for me. I mean, I do take care of myself and everything, but it's like people like Flynn understand that, and they have that warlike intensity. Even though it's not war, it is at some level. And if we are not our opponents, and they're not really opponents, they're just walking down a path that wouldn't be beneficial to us, to them even. And the further they do that, they're very smart, and they're very small-minded in the sense that they want to just own the world, right? They just want to control, and that's not in their best interest. That's not in anybody's best interest. And so we have to be as warlike in our intensity while being calm, right?
Yeah, I mean, thank you. I mean, we're at a very, very beyond crucial point in our global history. And there's so much that can be done. And collectively, you know, we all need to really be able to come together and, you know, manipulate the timeline for the greater benefit of everybody.
That's really it. It really is that. It's like, how can we, with recognizing, honoring, and allowing free will,
right,
build the timelines that we want. And it really is like artistry, right? We have to be creative and have to be passionate and take that energy, increase our field, and go. And whether it's this life or the next life or whatever, the more you visualize those things and embody those things now, it creates a field around you, and it affects everybody, and it creates probability. The 100th monkey thing, it's like, we're there. The 100th monkey thing is real, and we're there. We just need the Voltron sort of like structure for us all to fit in and run in. And Flynn gets that, you know, and like, you know, it's one thing to create a social media app and have the next place where everybody can talk and do their things, but how do we need to go to the next level, right? We need to take it and make it something that is actually functionary for civic life. And like, we're going to have that. And it's whether it's a free one or an enslavement tool, you know?
Right. So I'm really glad you were able to meet him. So you got a positive vibe from him?
Yeah, super duper.
Like a sincere positive vibe of all this, a million articles we've been reading on social media.
Yep. He's got a very good spirit. Like I said, like, there are very few people that I get starstruck by, right? And I never for like anything that's, you know, societal constructs. It was just the integrity and the peace in his character. I was like, whoa, you know, like, you know, I felt humbled, right? So.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. Anybody else have a question or comments or anything? Go ahead, Juliet.
Well, so a couple things. Again, just thank you so much for all you guys are doing, for all that we're all doing. I keep getting stressed out because I don't know the technology and I'm not ready to jump in but you kind of answered that, like, it sounds like keep doing the work in the garden, in my family, staying calm. So like, not that I shouldn't do the crypto, but if I don't have the time and it's not right, like, you know, I got to get my ducks in a row. Right. So that I feel better. Right. Like, I will jump in and
Yeah.
contribute that way when I'm ready. But I also don't want to wait too long. So hopefully you'll, ping us like, hey, you got to do it now, right? That would be helpful.
So yes, so consider this your ping. Learn how to use Coinbase, learn how to use MetaMask, and learn crypto in general. This is FIRE will make it a lot easier eventually. Like it'll be like you use Cash App or Venmo, or PayPal or whatever. Like it will eventually be that simple. And some systems out there are that simple, but there's some unique aspects to the whole blockchain space, like understand cryptography, not how to do cryptography, but that it exists and what its function is and what a long string of numbers means in terms of an address, and like that's your wallet address. Just some basic fundamentals. And there's so many videos out there online on how to do that, that it just takes 5, 10 minutes maybe. If you're doing any research throughout the day, online videos, and I know how it can be, like I get into sometimes ruts, like where I look and for what I look, and that sometimes it needs to hit me a couple, like just like everybody else, like it needs to hit me a couple times before I actually click the link to go look at whatever product they're sending me, right? You kind of have to take a little bit of initiative, find out about blockchain, find out about crypto, and buy some, use Coinbase or whatever, and just buy some, or Cash App now. And send somebody some, get a couple people, build a little, community, and say, hey, let's all get crypto and figure this out together. If that's one way that you learn, because when it comes to when FIRE tokens are available and we're going to be distributing to our community here, you all, you're going to need to be able to receive it, know how it works, trade it, use it, store it for value, and how to get out of it if you want to. So it's going to be to your benefit the sooner that you know how to do that, because like literally the whole market, all the markets are moving there, and transactions will be done that way. It's, they've already started, but it's going to take up more and more market cap in the next couple of years, especially what China's doing. They're trying to take their whole country onto digital currencies. So there's one aspect to it. It's like, beware the mark of the beast and all of this, and everything's digital this, digital that. Like Prince said, know how to use the technology, use the computer, don't let it use you, right? So put it into your daily regimen, like whenever you're doing research or something, to just add blockchain in there, figure out how the tokens are used. We see Jordan just posted metamask.io in the chat. Figure out how that wallet works, how to connect your Ethereum wallets to it, and just become familiar, because it'll be very helpful.
Well, and then along those lines, well, kind of differently. So thank you. So now I've just got to jump in and work on it. There's always so much to do. But along the other lines, I have a little bit of concern with the whole Trump realm, just because. So again, who knows what's really going on, whatever. But like my feeling has always, I just have this, on one hand, I'm like, okay, that group is going to help. And then on the other hand, I'm like, no, they're in it with the elitists. They're in it with Hillary. The Clintons got him to run as controlled op. And then in my view, he just was like, oh, I can win. I'm going to go for it. So I don't know. How are you dealing with those types of, like, I mean, you have to talk to people, but how are you being careful? I don't know. How are you dealing with those types of concerns? Because I'm sure you have them too, right?
100%. In fact, I was thinking like, hey, it would be a great idea to get Trump on FIRE and this and that. I'm like, nope, that's not a great idea. The one thing wealthy people are really good at is maintaining and preserving their wealth. And as altruistic as they seem on paper or in the media, that's all just ops. That's optics. That's not like reality. They create their nonprofit so that they can keep their money, right? And do their fun stuff through their own nonprofits and stuff, or they're giving kickbacks to their friends. And it's like this whole, like, so many people look at civilization as like this king of the hill thing, where it's like, once I get to the top of the hill, I have to maintain my spot. And it's a large, it's kind of how wolves work, right? The alpha, but it's more about understanding what the playing field looks like, what everybody's roles are in it, and how to use that to everybody's advantage. We're finding out that nature is more cooperative than it is competitive. Darwin was wrong on a number of things. So like when I look at those guys and politicians and, heavy money guys, like as one, it sounds weird, but it's like, how can I use them to everybody's
Mhm.
advantage? You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Because like there has to be this fundamental flip in our value structure where we recognize that we are one body of humanity, that we share one soul, that we are all reflections of each other. And once that fundamentally takes place and that becomes the mainstream thought, which is what the controllers don't want, because they are so not that. They're like, how do I take over all of this? And they're once we get to that meme being widely known and widely spread and just part of our culture and part of our makeup, then things will start moving in the direction that we want to. And that's a big part of why FIRE exists. So if we can work with, partner with, ally with at some point with some of these folks, like, let's do it, so long as it's serving the greater. But ain't nobody going to save us but ourselves, right? So as long as we have that fundamental, then we're empowered, and we're not waiting for daddy or mommy or a president or somebody to, some guru or anything to come around and do this for us. We have to do it, and like, I think some of the first messaging of FIRE is like, this is going to be really hard. It's going to be challenging, and we're not going to succeed at first, but we're going to keep trying. And if you want to feel meaning and purpose in your life, then fucking roll with us, because that's what it's about. It's the meaning that makes things worthwhile. It's the struggle that makes things worthwhile. And it's the doing of the thing, not the receiving of the thing. So that's my thoughts on those guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Juliet. Anybody else? Mr. Monger or Sage, you were first. Go ahead.
Which one you
Yes,
want?
good morning. Just had a question about global governance, and FLAIRE is supposed to be about global governance, and I know it's built into FIRE. The word global kind of freaks me out a little bit. I was just wondering if this is going to be more like create more of a national governance on a global governance on a smaller scale.
Well, I think I get the essence and the spirit of your question, right? So we have to have a decentralized system of governance that works at the municipal level, county level, state level, and national level, right? And everybody has to maintain their sovereignty and their cultural identity. But it also has to be interoperable with everybody else, so everybody can play together. And we can't have China making decisions to pollute things that affect everybody. That should be decisions that everybody gets to make, right? Like, it shouldn't be that Bill Gates can release mosquitoes into the fucking atmosphere that are going to give you the vaccine nanobots without your fucking explicit consent. So decisions like that should be addressed at a global level, but decided at a local level with your cohort. And then it kind of like, in a proper system of governance, like the Swiss or the Iroquois have, it's like, here's the question, what do you all want to do? And then everybody goes and fucking talks about it. And then everybody comes back, and then their representative, or after they've talked, like, this tribe says this tribe says that tribe says this. And they send their person to say, hey, this is what we all agreed, right? And then if more discussions need to happen, and like, let's say in your tribe, somebody has a really good point, they come with you and they represent, right? So we have to have a distributed system of governance that is technically global, right? Where it's not like we can make decisions, say, now all of you have to abide by it, right? It's like, there has to be a way to get everybody's input and determine everybody's consensus and willful acquiescence, right? I don't like the UN. I don't think that they're set up for the proper reasons. I think that all of these systems that have come into place for one purpose and one purpose only, with some ancillary effects, but that purpose is to maintain control and structure, and to make those who are building that more wealthy, more powerful, more all of that. There is the idea that we don't want to have mutually assured destruction and this and that, but we have to have a means to communicate globally and make decisions as a species if we want to survive, in my opinion. What do you think about that, Sage?
I like it. It seems with the quantum scale of communication that we have right now, we should be able to input our decisions and agree upon things. Hey, do you like the chemtrails? No, let's stop them.
Right.
I
or
don't
at
think
least have
most
the
people
power
agree
to
with that.
affect them and stop them if we're collected If we're like, unions were set up for that purpose. Stop beating us up individually, so we're going to become a body, and now you can't beat us up as much. We make decisions together. That is a threat, right, to the global control system. But the only way we get to continue on is if they acquiesce to the understanding that we all are here making decisions together. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Sage. Sorry. Did you want to finish your thought?
Oh no, that's fine. It's open discussion.
Yeah. So if this country wants to use this sort of governance style, or they have this cultural norm, like they can white label the system and use it in however they want, but it's still interoperable. And then you have the competition and voluntarism, where there's no one forcing you to use it, right? And if we set up extra jurisdictionally, then we can actually be something that represents the body populace as a whole. And we're not this country or that country, but we can have members in every country, All right. M. Monger.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on the whole lively hope thing. Like it's refreshing to have this and have a place that has a future. Like I have confidence in this system, and because I know the power of light. And there's a lot of people that just don't. And when you touch on, I this is confirmation that the truth and we are aligning in one spirit for one accord to get this done right. That you're meeting the right people. That you're talking about your money needs to be coming from the right people, right? The right sources. Yep. All this stuff is the preservation of us as humanity, as a spirit, as one accord. And the lively hope part, like we have to be this light. We have to have this for people to come to us and to gravitate towards us. And I mean, that's the secret of it. That's how we're going to get through this. And it's refreshing, brother. And we're in on it, man. And the confirmation that I'm getting through the spirit, watching these pieces unfold, is amazing. And prayer, the power of prayer, man. When you say that, if we can all put our mind's eye on this thing and touch it, we will bring it into existence. And that is the secret of it. And people don't understand that. That's one of these truths that's in nature that's been robbed from us. Yep. And yeah, keep blowing that horn, man. That's the one that's going to get us through this the quickest.
And thank you so much for saying that. I really, really appreciate that, and for seeing this and seeing me. And it's also consistency, right? It's like showing up every Sunday, showing up every morning at 4:30, and like just keep plugging away. Like, and even if I don't make any forward movement that day, or something bad happens or whatever, like I get knocked down, I get back up and let's do it again. Until it manifests. Until it's brought into physical materiality and we have the resources that we need to fucking make this thing like really affect billions of people. So in my mind, it's already happened. It's just like kind of lining up all the atoms till we're in that spot in time and space. So thank you for being here and for saying that.
Agreed.
Cool. Angelina.
Hey, it's actually Jeffrey.
Hey, what's up, Jeff?
Hey, we just got back. We just spent a week on our land. We're headed out there again. So
nice.
We're getting closer. It's exciting. We're looking forward to use some of the stuff that you've come up with. I think everything, I came in a little late, but everything sounds great as long as it's voluntary. I think that's the key.
Yep.
Just not being forced, because there's nothing scarier than not being able to say no.
Correct. And that's what we're facing, right? It's like, so Fong, you had said, why this year? It's like, because after this kind of, if we don't get it together, we won't be able to say no. And it'll just be like, all right, how do I survive and or find my way out of here? And I'd like to avoid that. And I think that the ability, so we also have to build it so that it doesn't become the only thing and that you have to just do it, right? It has to be built in such a way that for at least 1,000 years, you can still have choice and free will until we get smart enough and wise enough to build the next thing. We never find the solution that works. Like chlorine was used to clean water, and that worked. It stopped dysentery and all of these other things, but then it became its own problem. Every solution becomes a problem at some point because we grow and adapt and change. So it has to be built with enough time, with enough understanding of the human condition and the spiritual growth that we have to go and create that window where we can do all of the growth. And then by the time it becomes a problem, we've figured out a way to get to the next thing,
Yeah, I think the perfect solution is pretty elusive, but yeah, it's a good point. If it it's hard for it to become maybe too big, and then it's voluntary, but it's the only option. So it's not
Right.
really voluntary. I wanted to bring up, I was listening to this guy, Rob Braxme. Have you heard of him?
No.
So he
Love you
does
guys.
something.
You're always introducing me to new shit. Let me pull up my thing.
Yeah, he's on Odyssey.
Okay.
Yeah, Braxme. Or Braxman, MAN, actually. Rob Braxman. And he's like a privacy guy. So
Asian
he does a
fellow?
service. What's that?
Asian fellow?
Yes.
Yeah, got him.
Yeah. So he does a service where he makes de-Googled phones. So he uses basically an Android and he just takes out all the spyware.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd mention that because you'd said that the first PHIRE on phone is going to be on Android.
Yeah.
So it might be valuable to, it only does us so much good if it's an Android phone and it's great and it's for PHIRE on, but then Google's spying on us like crazy. And, so I just thought I'd mention that. It's kind of a little nugget for you.
Yeah, I've got his website up and he says, please contact me on my community chats. I have too many private chat messages and public interest hacker and technologist, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I got his links here. All right, sweet.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like a Raspberry Pi. I don't know too much about it, but he
William,
basically,
if you're still on, William, could you, Jeff, would you mind putting here, I'll just type him in. William, if you'd find this guy, I think I'd like to interview him. I put it in the chat there for you, William. Great. Well, thanks,
Sweet.
Jeff.
Yeah. Have a great day.
You too, brother. All right. All right. I want to give anybody that. Let me see if I can look through the names here and see if there's anybody who hasn't introduced themselves. Did I forget? Did we talk to Serena and Josh? Serena and Josh.
Hi, Serenity.
Hi, Serenity.
I just, I wanted to thank you. You actually made me feel like the spirit of Bucky Fuller is here with us right now.
Is that you that posted that in the chat?
Yeah,
Yes.
because he's like my favorite. Him and Da Vinci are my favorite. And some people have said that they were the same person. So who knows,
Same.
wouldn't surprise me. But what I feel like it's like you're solidifying some things that I've been talking about with a few different loved ones and people in the chats about how we're basically in order to get America complacent, they had to celebritize and get people feel like things are being taken care of by the people who are meant to take care of them.
Yep.
And so what's coming, and I feel it's just beautiful, is that it's really just people going, oh, I had this inner desire when I was a child, or I had this inner desire here. Was I supposed to apply that?
Right.
And so basically it's just everybody finding that little spark, and knowing that they all have it. That makes this whole thing big, because even my sister and I were talking about how people celebritize politicians and stuff.
Yep.
But it's not the people who celebritize them. They were celebritized.
Yep.
So that we'd be complacent. So I'm feeling this community getting out of that whole, like, let's idolize people versus honor them.
Correct. Yes.
So,
that's the key.
super awesome.
Thank you so much for chiming in and saying that. Yeah, he's right up there with like Jacques Fresco for me, and Da Vinci was a huge inspiration since I was a child. Like I actually, what's interesting is before I knew Da Vinci existed, I was writing backwards in cursive in my notebooks. And then I found out Da Vinci did it, and I thought like, oh, I'm Da Vinci, like reincarnated for a period of time.
That's awesome. That's how I felt when I was hearing about how bad he wasn't finishing his projects. I'm like, oh, look at that. Maybe. Yeah, that was, yeah. I was 12.
So, yeah, I was a young one. And I saw an alien interview at some point on the web somewhere, and they were talking about how we are all the same soul looking at each other from different eyes. Mm-hmm. And how, that matches with my idea, like all time and space is written like a video game, like a role-playing game on a CD-ROM back when they had those. And like all the possibilities exist. It just takes you going through and making choices to see where you end up, and that we all are that same source code looking at each other here. And those of us who are waking up recognize that and want that community, but that love's longing for itself, right? Like that recognition that we exist and that we are beautiful and that we are all in one experience.
And connected through the heart center.
Correct.
Yeah.
And this world is set up to balance that, so you can have a place where you're not, so that you can experience not, so you can actually have experiences. If that
Right.
makes sense. But what's happening is it's going further and further away from the source code and more to like, self-aware parts of that system are like, oh, I can enslave the rest of God and have my own little kingdom. And that's not how things work.
Yeah, and you have to fight to maintain that every day. Who wants to do that?
Correct.
Like what
Why
you were
not?
kind of mentioning before. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we have been basically farmed and
Yeah.
intentionally dumbed down so that we could be controlled, where the purpose of it is the quite opposite. So the PHIRE is a step in the direction of like, wait a minute, we recognize that we've lost a lot of stuff, but here's a way that we can work together and do it together and recognize the divinity in each one and honor that instead of putting anybody on a pedestal.
Right. It's wonderful. I really thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. And unless there's anybody with a last, everybody feel complete, we'll get into the meditation. Last chance. Anybody wants to say anything? Good, we're right at about the time anyhow. All right, so for those of you who haven't been here for the meditation, what we do is we'll do like a relaxation technique with a warm rose gold light that comes through our body as though it were a cave and fills us up, and all of our stresses, put them underneath you in a pool. And then we'll do a couple breathing exercises where it's just you in breathe and you pull up, visualize the energy spiraling up your spine from the earth, gathering and activating your body. You hold and pause, and in that pause, begin to feel yourself as weightless. And then when you exhale, imagine a water fountain, a spiraling water fountain, coming out and pouring over your aura field like iron filings around a magnet, strengthening your actual field. All of the atoms in the air around you are actually part of your being, and you can become aware of them. And if you help structure them with your electromagnetic field, then they begin doing work for you. You become more psychic, you become more aware, more magnetic, and you can draw in the reality that you would like to experience. And then we do a visualization where we travel sort of through the densities and recognize how much power we actually have as a being in our cells. All right. All right, Allison, no worries. Thank you for being here. So if you find yourself in a comfortable, either seated or laying down, I'm going to slow down my speech a little bit. Just find yourself in a comfortable seated position or in a place of lying down, safety where you won't be disturbed. Be sure to turn off your phones. Take a moment to just be here and be present. Any considerations you've had, concerns or stresses that you've had from this week or this weekend, just set those aside for now. This is a moment where you get to be safe, comfortable, at peace, and fully present. Well, imagine a rose gold light shining down on the crown of your head. And wherever this light touches, your body goes into deeper relaxation. Wherever this rose gold light touches, your body becomes warm and supple. The atoms in your body line up in perfect order, increasing the electromagnetic capacity of your vessels, increasing the conductivity of your being to allow more energy to flow through you and as you. As the rose gold light touches the crown of your head, imagine it seeping through the crown of your chakras, slowly filling you up from the top down with warmth and relaxation. And as it furthers itself south through your being, comes to your brain and your third eye, imagine complete peace and stillness. Any blockages like a dam in a river just melting and being pushed on downstream. letting your thoughts become still, letting your concerns melt off of you like warm coconut oil. Off of the front of your head and the back, down your neck, into a pool below you. You are safe, you are cared for, you are at peace. As the rose gold light continues down within your head, covering your eyes and your ears, going down through your jawline, your chin, your teeth, filling your entire cranium with warm, coherent, structured light, releasing the tension in your brow, releasing the tension in your jaw. Just peace. As the rose gold light continues down through your neck, touching your throat, opening up that vessel, communication and truth, expression of the notes of your being, completely relaxed and open, warm, aware, conscious. As the light continues down through your neck and through your shoulders, any tension that you have there just melts. Imagine it melting off like coconut oil going down your back, going down your chest, pooling into a pool below you. As the warmth continues down through your lungs and through your heart and your biceps, your pecs, feel the warmth in your gratitude. Feel the warmth in your lungs, the relaxation and peace, releasing yourself of grief, and holding on to the past, but being fully integrated in the present in this moment. The tip of the spear of your ancestral lines, going back millions of years, from various different star systems through the stories of Earth, through the nations and the tribes that have come to create you on the very leading edge of this river of life. And as the warm light continues down through your being, down to your solar plexus and covering your biceps, filling up the whole top half of your body, structured, coherent, warm, relaxing light. You become aware of yourself as an identity, as a facet on the gem of creation. An I am presence, complete with all of the structures of your vessel, complete with all the structures of your being, the thought forms and identities that you have collected to express uniquely the infinite creator in this place that you call here and now. And as the light continues through your body down into your belly, covering your elbows as well, that creative churning Dantian, that fire that creates, that moves, that experiences, that yearns, that strives, opening up those channels so that the river of life and the fire of life might flow through you in structured and coherent means, that the electricity of life might flow through you with strength and vitality, with warmth and balance. The light continues down into your pelvis, to your root, covering your legs and your thighs. In your root, knowing that you are here and you are safe, part of family, of reflections of the one infinite creator. Members of the bifurcating lightning bolt that is life, all created, all represented in the one infinite creator. As the light continues down, the pool of stress below you, removed from your vessel, removed from your being, melting off of you as though you had no concerns in the world. fully present and safe in this moment. Imagine the light filling your body all the way to your toes now. The complete light body of I am. From head to toe, from skin to bone, filled with the gnosis and structure of conscious light and awareness. Take a moment to be in that. The glowing body of I am present, floating in the grand symphony of creation. Become aware of the atoms in the room around you. Become aware of the atoms that comprise the cells that comprise your body. We will begin the breathing exercises. Imagine the electric force that holds all of these atoms together below you in the earth. And as we breathe in, we are going to be drawing that electricity, that life force, that vril, that chi, through our root system, spiraling the tornado up our spines, increasing the capacitive understanding and gnosis structure of the cells within our body. We will inhale and we will hold it, feeling the peace and the stillness of creation in the sea of atoms. Inhale and hold it. Exhale, spiral the fountain of light and energy around your aura field, structuring that field, and hold it. In stillness, we honor that I am. Inhale the energy spiraling up our spines, and hold it. In divine connection with the unified one, exhale, spiraling and increasing the coherence of the atoms around you, and hold it. Picture them in perfect unity with your fields and intentions. Inhale, spiraling the energy up our spines, increasing the light within, and hold it. Honoring the stillness, exhale, increasing the light of our being, and hold it. Inhale, drawing the energy up into coherent and powerful power in your being, and hold it. The light of creation for you to express, and exhale, structuring the field around you, increasing your being's vessel, and hold it. One more time, fully lighting up the vessel of your body with light. Inhale, and hold it, shining like a beacon in the dark, and exhale, shining that light into the vessel outside, and hold it. Inhale comfortably, relaxing your body into this state of awareness, of presence and stillness. Aware that each atom within your vessel contains the stories of all of your ancestors, all of your lineage expressing itself through you at this moment. Become aware of the coherence of the field around you, the aura that you are, lining up the atoms in the space around you in ways that you have not yet seen, but that you can imagine. Increasing the capacitive magnetic personality that you already possess and express. Increasing the potentials and probabilities for your life to unfold in beauty and in balance and in health and in well-being. Drawing these things within you, creating the structure of them in the field around you with your intention and gratitude. A spaceship of consciousness and gnosis within which you express. your aspect of the infinite creator. The power of many infinite universes dwells within your vessel. Countless star systems, countless stars, creating, burning, invoking, with unlimited potential, channeled through the vessel that you are. Become aware of the millions of atoms in the room around you and float into that, increasing your size and awareness till you are taking up the room. Recognize that your emotions and your history have been in this room, this space, this organization of atoms and molecules housing you, the song of its being, holding the song of your being as one. Manifestation of the infinite probabilities of the infinite creator, holding the space that you are here and now. The echoes of your emotions and thoughts and the molecules and the walls, etched as tracks in the sand. All of your thoughts and memories housed in this place of this sea of atoms of which you are a part. Increase your size and awareness until you are floating up and outside of the building that you are in, aware of the house or the apartment complex, and all of the vessels and beings that are in this place. Songs in their own right, notes in the grand symphony of creation, the infinite sea of atoms. Increase your size and magnification until you're aware of the town, or the woods, or the city that you are within, filled with all of the life forms, filled with all of the stories, the birds, the four-legged ones, the two-legged ones, the song, the sea of song that you are within, of which you are a part, all working in perfect harmony and in balance, expressing the creative life force of the infinite creator, a sea of light, of information, of experience. Increase your size and magnification until you are floating above the state, or the municipality, or the county within which you are. Billions of atoms, structured in millions of formations, various manifestations, various urges and longings. Life forms abound, all working in harmony and balance, in its own song, of which you are a part. Really conceptualize the trillions of atoms that comprise the formation, the trillions of atoms that make this place that you are within. With your subtle awareness, you can touch all of them. You are a part of all of them, and all of them are a part of you. A sea in the grand symphony of creation. Unified and individual. Increase your size and magnification until you are floating above the nation that you find yourself in. Millions of lives, millions of stories, billions of life forms, all comprised of trillions of atoms, a sea of gnosis and exploration in the infinite symphony of creation. So much life. Increase your size and magnification until you are floating high above the earth at the edges of the atmosphere. Looking at the symphony below you, the sphere of Gaia, the living life form expressing itself through trillions of life forms, a song of creation unique to this time and this place and space. Various urgings, longings, and strivings. And at the edge of this atmosphere, become aware of the others here on this journey with us in this meditation. You are aware of your life force and your glowing ball of light energy. And imagine a web, light strings from you to each of the others here, and from each of the others here to you, to one another. Creating a web of intention, of structure, at the atomic level and the energetic levels, with the innocence, heartfelt strivings of youthful souls, useful beings, striving for truth and balance, striving for honor and love. Become aware of the angels and the guardians who float here as well, without body form, but in structural integrity at the atomic level, energetic life forms of intention and gnosis. Feel their gratitude for the work that we do. Imagine the web and all of us here bathing the world below in love and appreciation, pulsing gratitude, pulsing peace. Imagine the world becoming peaceful, everybody pausing, whatever they're doing, just pausing, looking up and wondering, what is it that is happening? What am I? What are we? What is beauty? Radiating warmth and peace, radiating calmness and stillness. And for this, the earth itself is grateful. As we turn heavenward, become aware of the moon and its life force, its gnosis, its history. Billions of years of history. Its journeys throughout the cosmos. Its gnosis, reflecting the light of the sun. As we increase our size and magnification, we become aware of the spheres in this solar system. Each of the planets comprised of infinite amount of atoms, collected in infinite amount of forms throughout billions of years of history, each one comprising life at some point in time, with its own consciousness and its own awareness comprised of the infinite atoms and the billions of years of history that it has been spinning and spiraling around the sun, the collection of souls, creating the atoms within which we are clothed, dreaming into existence all of the planets and all of the beings, and expelling itself and encasing itself in its own clothing, its own atoms, exploring the universe in this place that we call here and now, separated by the illusion of self. The entire solar system comprised of trillions of years of history, churning, expressing, spiraling dance through the grand symphony of creation, an entire place of knowing and being. And as we increase our size and magnification, you become aware of the infinite stars around you, other star systems, complete with their own trillions of years of history, complete with their own planets and spheres of consciousness, complete with their own life forms and expressions of the one infinite creator. Aware that each one is aware, and each of the atoms that comprise those systems are aware, filled with universes of life, teeming with consciousness. And as you increase your size and magnification, those lights, those solar systems shrink, and you recognize that you are floating above the galaxy, the Milky Way, spiraling around the central sun, expelling, creating, forming, balancing. Each of the star systems comprised of infinite amount of atoms, containing each one of them their own infinite universe, formed in trillions of formations of consciousness, infinite life forms, infinite spheres of consciousness that become planets, infinite star systems churning, expressing, singing. A galactic symphony of which you are a part. And as you increase your size and magnification, you find that there are many other galaxies, full of the same amount of life, same amount of infinite probabilities, stretching on for infinite years in every direction. Infinite atoms collecting infinite manifest forms, all expressing the one infinite creator in the multitude, the grand symphony of creation. And as you increase your size and magnification, all those galaxies come together and to coalesce into one point of light. And the entirety of this universe coalescing into one point of light. And you recognize that you are floating in an atom. And that atom is surrounded by other atoms with the same amount of distance, with the same amount of infinite universes, infinite galaxies, and infinite atoms, stretching on in every direction, expressing the one infinite creator in its multitudinous forms. And those atoms that you see as you increase your size and magnification comprise molecules. And those molecules comprise cells. And those cells are within your body. And you are now aware of your body here in this moment that you call here and now. And each of the atoms and all of the cells and each of your vessels comprised of infinite universes and infinite potentials, teeming with life, teeming with consciousness, teeming with possibility and infinite creative potential. And each of those cells are working in perfect unison to express this being that you are. The one infinite creator expressing itself in this beautiful form that you are, this beautiful I that you am. Take a moment to become aware of, cognizant of, and appreciative of the billions of universes that comprise who you are. The infinite species, the infinite expressions of light, all moving together in a grand symphony, in balance, manifesting you with the intention of the Creator, expressing itself as you. in gratitude, and in honoring of all of this, we are still. You can accomplish anything that you can imagine. And the life force of creation beckons for you to make use of it. Aho.
Aho.
Become aware of yourself in this space. Begin to breathe, move your fingers, and however you'd like to come back to consciousness, full consciousness. Well, thank you. If anybody would like to share their experience or anything that they felt during that, now's the time. Did anybody have any messages or awarenesses that came to them? All right.
Can I say something?
Yes, please, Lori.
I love you guys.
I love you too.
Yeah.
That was
That's
great.
all. I just love you guys.
I think we've done this before in various lifetimes and on various planets. That was sort
You
of
think?
that was the message I was getting.
Oh,
It's like we're the special ops on planet Earth at this time.
I love it.
Well, thank you all very much. I hope you enjoy your week. You guys know how to reach me if you have anything you want to chat about. And we've got some contracts to take care of. And we are done.